This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Hello, Place to Be Nation universe. We are back for the Survivor Series reaction show. I'm your host, Chris Zellner, joined as always by my co-host, the Oracle of the WWE, the one, the only, Devon Hales. Devon, been a busy weekend for you. We had the SCI Trios tournament on Saturday night. You got Survivor Series tonight, and your Cowboys are at the moment getting their asses kicked by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, that's the best team in the league. The Eagles are. That's unfortunate. But it's been a super fun weekend, man. Unfortunately, you weren't able to make it up this time, but it was a fun weekend, and Trios was a really good show, as always with the SCI shows and events. Team Glory Pro were victorious. Kurt Stallion, Gary J, and Myron Reed. That was it was a super fun show. We had a big takeover watch party afterwards that went deep into the night in a hotel room, which was also fun. It was a good time, and we even had some friends from Twitter join us tonight to watch Survivor Series with us. So it was fun.
Awesome. Yeah, I had to work on Saturday and I had to miss that show, which I hated it, but it is what it is during the holiday season. But the CDC Rumble, February the 10th, I will definitely be there for sure if I can. And you and everybody else that's listening, if you can, you need to show up for that too, because that's
absolutely.
I mean, hey, that's a Royal Rumble in itself, and the Royal Rumble will be just a few weeks earlier. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be an awesome little companion to that.
Sure.
So, anyway, that's next year. Let's go back to this year. And we had the last major show of the year, the last of the Big Four, Survivor Series. And, wow, what a show.
Yeah.
A 2-hour pre-show. So the show went almost 6 hours of, altogether. And pre-show this time, I was mainly watching football and doing some between the sheets recording, but it seemed like the pre-show this time didn't drag, is maybe the word I'm thinking of here. That it was kind of different than the pre-shows, and I think maybe it's because Lawler and Shawn Michaels were on there together, and Rosenberg was he's
Typical,
Rosenberg,
yeah.
But the Alexa Charlotte thing I enjoyed.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that Alexa just went off on her, but Charlotte did okay, but Alexa was great in that segment, and the social media lounge with Miz and Charlie was entertaining.
Oh yeah,
Miz shitting on everybody's questions. Yeah, so that's what we got there. That was non-matches. So the matches we have here: Matt Hardy versus Elias, and this match and the main pre-show match we were talking about in a minute were announced just hours before the show, so no advance build for these. But Elias performed another Elias original before the match where he shit on Texas, which actually got Booker T mad for the first time tonight. And although Booker forgave him after the match because he loves Elias so much. But interesting match. Not a whole lot of people in the building because they did this match like 15-6. So people are still filing in. But Elias gets the win, which was the definite finish, the right finish to do. And Matt Hardy is in a position now where he's doing what they're doing with him. I think is the right move if they're going to have him in this type of spot. He needs to be putting over young guys,
right?
But he did make a tweet during the pay-per-view about how he needed an awakening. So it looks like maybe something's going to happen. Thoughts of the match and thoughts on a possible awakening of Matt Hardy?
Yeah, the match itself I actually thought was pretty good. It kind of reminded me of those like old if you're a star ratings person, like one of those 3 to 3.5 star Matt Hardy TV matches from like 2006, 2008, where he does a really good job of selling. His mobility is shot at this point, but Elias worked the arm. He did that sweet looking like Tiger Driver shoulder breaker that was that looked real nasty. Matt's selling was awesome. I loved how he switched his bulldog when he tried for his bad arm and had to switch to his other arm. Just little details like that. Matt's always been good at that, and it was a good little match. And right guy won. Elias went over. I enjoyed it. As far as the awakening teases, I don't know really. I really don't know how to feel about that. There's a big part of me that still thinks it's sort of a pipe dream and not really or pretty much a lost cause at this point. I don't know how the legal situation is going down at this point with all that stuff. But I also think it's worth pointing out that Matt Hardy always tweets things that are maybe not teases to that degree, but sometimes he'll tweet some teases. But it's something that's always kind of a possibility with him, especially with Jeff being out for several more months.
Which they mentioned him on commentary, and Michael Cole basically said that he said a couple of months.
Yeah.
So maybe Jeff Hardy makes a return at the Rumble.
We'll see.
As a surprise. But I got no issues with Matt Hardy, trying to do something to get him going because he's been floundering, and they do need somebody extra to have in there in the mix, in the mid card. So, that would be something, they could work with. Elias, hey, that guy, he's improved so much. He had the character, and now he's improved his ring work. 2018, I think he's going to become a more of a major player for sure. I could see him in an IC title hunt for sure.
Oh yeah,
in 2018.
Oh, certainly, for sure. He
does little things.
Oh yeah, and just his in-ring work has improved. I mean, that he brought the work rate in, with the move I described a little bit earlier, and he's his work on the arm was really good and effective. So he's definitely gotten
Absolutely.
better.
Yeah, don't sleep on Elias, folks. And I do like how Renee and Sean both called him the Drifter after the match at one point.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, next match for the Cruiserweight Championship. In a feud that I know hasn't gone very long, but it seems like it's gone on for months and months and months. Enzo Amore versus Kalisto. Kalisto's entrance definitely was a hit among the Twitter gifers tonight because he almost fell. He did his little sprint jump off the trampoline and didn't clear the top rope all the way. Got hung on the top rope and just rolled into the ring. Not a good entrance for Kalisto.
Poor guy.
And yeah, but the match was okay. Enzo is to me his best work as a worker in the ring. Is being the face in peril, getting his ass kicked. But his best character work is as a heel. Yeah. So you had this total dichotomy to work with here, and it's like, what do we do with this guy? So they finally went full heel with him, and I mean he's been good in the segments and stuff, but when it comes to the ring, it's just not translating over. He's just not that good as an offensive wrestler.
No.
And gets the pin on Kalisto here, retains his title. Hopefully now we move on to something else. I know Hideo Itami's been rumored to be making his entrance into the 205 Live world, but I don't know. What do you think about the match? And Enzo as a heel champion.
The match was just, I mean, it really didn't do anything for me. It wasn't bad per se. It was just kind of just a match. You made a great point that Enzo is a great bumper, but he just isn't very effective on offense. As a heel, I think he does a good job of playing the whole stalling tactics stuff, which he does very well. But when you have to work a control segment and a heat segment, he just isn't good at it at all. I mean, he's bad at it. Like he just can't do it from that standpoint, and no one cares unless he's got a microphone in front of his mouth. So it's weird. It's just odd. Enzo is a heel character and champion. As a character, I think he is very good, and I think there's some truth to the idea that he's brought some more eyes and attention to 205 Live, but I don't think it's pretty much the same in terms of the excitement level of watching the show from week to week. And I actually do think he's hurt the consistency of the in-ring matches. The matches have fallen down a little bit. The matches just aren't as good anymore, because he's got a match every week, and I'd much rather see Neville have a good match than Enzo have a bad one. So it's it's to me, it's sort of leveled out. Like there's no difference in quality. And then I think there's an argument to even be made that there's it's sort of lost some of the quality that it may have had before.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've tuned out 205 Live. I mean, I've had it on, but I've tuned out a lot lately just because when he's in the ring, I don't care.
Yeah, it's very hard to care with him. It's very difficult. It's not, and it's not. This isn't even a defense of Neville, because I didn't care really when Neville was on either. So
Neville had great matches.
But exactly, but he had great matches. So it's just different. You know what I mean? It's just I can't invest in Enzo. And maybe I'm in the minority because I think that there is like I said, a decent argument to be made that he's brought more eyes and attention to the show, but it's just he's just doing nothing for me. And there was a period where I would try to watch 205 Live every week. It's more like 205 on Saturday at 2 a.m. for me now. It's not something I watch on Tuesdays after SmackDown anymore.
Yeah, and what do you think? Where we go from here? Tommy, if he shows up, or I mean, we've pretty much run the gambit of the guys there. I mean, yeah, they could maybe put some heat on Mustafa Ali or Cedric Alexander or something, but they've been on the show for over a year now, so it's kind of like we've been there, done that with these guys, even if they may have not have had that chance at the title.
Right. And the thing is, it's just I don't know what you do with those guys. These Alis and these Cedrics have been around for a while, and both get pretty good responses at times because they're good wrestlers and they have good matches on a pretty consistent basis. But as characters, they're not that enthralling. And so it's like, how can you fix the issues that are still rampant on the show? It's very difficult. I made a somewhat silly joke, but I'm kind of half serious. To me, it's almost like the Brawl for All was a better idea than the WWE Cruiserweight division. It's just at least the Brawl for All was a terribly misguided spectacle. This is just a terribly misguided. Everything. It's been a mess.
Yeah. All right. Their pre-show main event featured Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against Breezango. And Owens and Zayn had a little promo before the match. Zayn is so good at his character right now. It's not even funny. I mean, that guy is so annoying, and you just want to hate him. And it's hilarious because I mean, dude's been a babyface his whole career basically, and he's just breaking out now and just kind of being himself. And I think it's the perfect compliment to Owens' like seriousness he's got going on. And I thought that the promo was fun. Match was fine. It was okay. Owen Zayn got the win, of course, the right decision. But what you think about Owens and Zayn here on the pre-show? I know a lot of people were upset on wrestling Twitter that how dare Owens and Zayn be on the pre-show and not in a match on the main show. Well, there's a reason for that, and we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on this?
It was fine. The match was decent. The promo, I actually liked Owens' promo fine. Zayn isn't really clicking for me as a character, and maybe he's like, I mean, he's supposed to be annoying, but he doesn't even really annoy me. He just kind of like, eh. But I will say this: turning Sami Zayn heel did wonders for him because,
Oh yes,
I mean, even though I'm not really a fan of it, it's definitely a positive turn for him because, man, I mean, he was so useless and floundering so much as a babyface who, didn't even have that great, who wasn't even having that many good matches. So it's better, or that's more of an opinionated part at the end there. I think he sort of hasn't been that great of a TV worker since he's been on the main roster, but this turn has really helped him and made him at least, somebody that can be interesting or had the potential to be interesting again, whereas he was just sort of there and not even doing anything, weeks at a time for the majority of the first half of the year.
yeah, absolutely. And it's refreshed him for sure. And their beef, of course, was a shame. Not putting them on the Survivor Series team, and they're relegated to the pre-show. So of course they're pissed off, and that leads to motivation for what happens later on the show. And Brazongo, no fashion files on SmackDown last week. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We will see. I got a feeling that they may be destroyed by the Bludgeon Brothers on SmackDown Tuesday night.
That's a strong possibility. That seems like something that might happen.
Yes. All right, we go to the main show proper, and we open up with the New Day and the Shield, which kind of surprised me. They went with that one as the opener, but it made sense to start off with one of the hot matches. And New Day had a promo for the match and they've been doing this recently, talking about they're the real brotherhood, and they're not gonna turn on each other like the Shield has turned on each other in the past and in the future, which to me just is a sign that somebody's gonna turn on somebody somewhere soon. Before we talk about the match, I mean, if you are to do this, how do you go about it? Do you turn two of them heel and keep one face? You turn one heel, keep two face? Who turns? Who's what? What's the roles for New Day if there is a breakup?
Man, people I would turn heel. I would either turn Big E heel or Xavier heel. I'd keep Kofi face the entire time. So I would either have that happen or like two guys kick out one. I might have maybe Xavier turn heel on Kofi and Big E, actually.
He's the one that could pull it off better.
Yes.
With his promos.
Yes.
But he's also one where he is better as a worker. As a babyface. He'd be like Enzo.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he'd be that quite as bad as Enzo in the ring, but
no.
Sure. The point still stands. I do think you're right though. For sure. There would be a drop in quality as far as his in-ring work goes.
And maybe a split just would happen and not turn anybody. Just, they split amicably, and Big E goes on to. I mean, the Big E definitely needs to have that singles run.
Yes.
I mean, then you have to do that.
Oh yeah.
At one point, or you're wasting him.
Oh yeah.
Because he's so deserving of that spotlight run. And there's guys on SmackDown he could work really good against if he's still SmackDown. If he's on Raw, there's guys on there he could work really good against. I mean, who wouldn't want to see like Big E and Samoa Joe?
Oh, that'd be great.
Have a run of matches. Big E and Rusev hook it up again, maybe for a series. I mean, Big E and Braun. Oh my lord! I mean, there's some good possibilities there. So I don't know. New Day, they definitely need to do something different. I think that tonight was maybe the last of the shining moments of New Day as a team. So it's time to do something different. When they pull the trigger on that, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, to the match. New Day and the Shield. This match, I had pretty high expectations for this match. Because these two units are very consistent at putting on high level matches over the years. And we've never really had any New Day Shield interactions other than Ambrose. I think when he won the U.S. title from Kofi, I think Dean was still a member of the Shield at that time, if I'm not mistaken.
Extreme Rules 2013, I believe. Yep.
There we go. So yeah, so there is that. The match, very strong match. But it kind of was interesting. It really picked up late. There was a point in the match there where I don't know, it was kind of just meandering in a way, maybe the word I would use. The crowd was kind of didn't know really what to do because they love both factions, and it took for them to start doing the hot moves and start doing the near falls to get everything going. But once it picked up, it was really good, and I like seeing some different moves used here, like the Shield doing that move where Xavier had Big E on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And Kofi jumped over Big E, and then the Super Shield Bomb to win. So I like that they felt like they had to break out these kill shots in this match. It made the match seem more important to me. Shield won, right decision, I think, considering who's doing what. And yeah, really good stuff. So what's your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I thought it was very good. It didn't meet my expectations, kind of the same as you, but it was still a really good match. There were some awkward moments in it. Like there was a spot where after they did the double splash shot, it looked like they were maybe going to do the Xavier springboard elbow for near fall. They didn't do it. It was weird. Like Big E was roll over for the cover, and then the ref went down for the cover, and Big E got off the cover, and there was some weird lack of chemistry moments almost between the two teams at times. But it did pick up towards the end. I liked the big saves for the near falls and the double team and triple team moves, and I like the finish with the big super bomb off the top rope was a strong finish. Yeah, it was a really good match. It was a tad bit disappointing, but although disappointing might seem a little harsh, but it was definitely a really good match. I just thought it would be a little bit better than it was.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it wasn't an all-time classic, and it's our high expectations getting this again. And I think part of it, like you said, the issue was lack of chemistry. I mean, these groups have been kept away from each other.
Yes, they have. Yep.
So there's never been a whole lot of interaction with these guys. Period.
Yeah.
So I mean, so of course they don't have the luxury of having the cachet of matches to call back on and have history together. Although they have worked against each other in different ways, but still it's not a regular thing. But yeah, I mean it was really good for what it was. Let's put it that way. And Shield wins. Raw's up 1-0. And
Scoreboard.
Scoreboard, exactly. And Booker T. This is the beginning of Booker T just killing Byron Saxton throughout the night, and just Cole and Booker were so great in their role as the Raw guys. I really like. I mean, a lot of people were shitting on the whole 5-man announce team. I like the dynamic because you have Cole and Booker as the 2 Raw guys. You got Byron and Tom as the 2 SmackDown guys. And you got Corey Graves, who's on both shows, as the middleman, which was the perfect way of doing it because he works both shows. So he's like playing it right down the middle.
He also had red and blue on, like it was dark. It was dark shade and red and blue on, which was a nice touch.
Yeah, so I thought they handled that great. But Booker, Booker's so awesome. And the only thing missing from this show was Booker giving a pep talk to the Raw locker room. But we would get a mini pep talk coming up next. But
the Queen.
For all you people that hate on, the Queen. For all you people that hate on Booker T, fuck off.
Yeah, Booker's the man.
Yeah. All right. As we were just talking about backstage, we have a pep talk from Stephanie McMahon to the Raw women, who are all in red. All coordinated.
That was actually kind of cool. I mean, the shirts were obvious, but I thought that they did it. That was kind of neat.
Yeah, and I thought that made complete sense. You know, you're supposed to be representing your show, your colors. Mm-hmm. You should be wearing your colors. Yeah. So they had all red gear on, and it was hokey, but
no hugs.
It was fun. No hugs, Bailey. You know, I thought. And Stephanie called upon her past with Sasha, and I thought it worked out for what it was. And Alicia Fox's hat is amazing. Her captain hat. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's like I don't know what you would say was growing on that thing, but she was something else. Then we get to the match. Now, Team SmackDown, there was some that had blue. I think Becky and Carmella. Mm-hmm. They had blue stuff going on. Natty, of course, was pink and black. Naomi was in her neon stuff. Tamina was all in black. So already you don't have any cohesion there with your gear.
Right.
And Alana was all in blue at ringside. But you get to the match, and boy, there was some interesting storytelling in this match. The first 2 eliminations were Becky and Bayley. Funny how that happens with that, horsewomen thing being talked about for, possible for WrestleMania. And they kind of look foolish, especially Becky getting eliminated with a roll-up.
That was odd.
Nia, of course, that was protected with a count-out, which made sense. And then Asuka eventually went on her elimination train, which was the right thing to do because Asuka's the one that they're going to build up as the top babyface girl on the show. So this is the way they need to do it. But man, that SmackDown team, oof, that's rough.
Yeah.
Tamina was in there. I mean, Tamina got to go over Bayley, which wow, that's something. Yep. But boy, I tell you, they desperately need to try to get that SmackDown women's division more competitive with some better girls, man. You got to do something. So Raw women won. They're up 2-0. Thoughts on the match, and how can SmackDown improve their women's division?
The match itself, I saw some pretty heavy criticism on it. I actually thought it was pretty decent, maybe even good. But I think the match in a lot of ways, I'll kind of go broad here. Is I think it was a way for Asuka to get over, the hardcore's lover. I think it was a way to present her to the other people who don't watch NXT as, hey, this person is tough. She's gonna eliminate, she's down, 2-1 here or whatever, and she's gonna, finish off the rest of the team.
And I want to touch on something real quick that you brought that up. I want to touch on that.
Yeah.
Believe me, folks, there is a large group of WWE fans that do not watch
Oh,
NXT.
yes.
I know them personally.
Yep.
I know people personally do not watch
As do
NXT.
I.
And whenever somebody comes up from NXT, they'll ask me, who is this person? And these people have WWE Network. They have the opportunity to watch it, but they don't watch it. They don't care. I mean, they're set in their ways of what they watch. So, but anyway, I mean, that's the perfect storytelling route was to have Asuka do that.
Yep.
So she went over strong. All right, continue.
Yeah. I just think, I think it was interesting to see her work more as an underdog in a lot of ways, and she's almost being presented as like an underdog monster in some ways, in the way because her selling's so good, and I think the difference is like, I don't mean to piggyback off of my brother's points too much, but Dylan made this point during the show, that she's sort of being presented more as an underdog monster than really a true monster like she was in NXT, because someone like Vince might see Tamina and Nia, the larger women, as no, these are the ones who need to be presented as monsters, and Asuka's not really, maybe not be might not be that kind of person that Vince sees in her, or a character. So it's more like Asuka's more like a badass, I guess, maybe. You know what I mean? Like just like a badass underdog than a monster. Which
she's somebody that when you piss her off, you need to be
yes, yeah, and they did that very well with the Carmella slap spot, and then that's what got that's how Carmella got eliminated. Was
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. The whole thing, like the Incredible Hulk.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they here's the mistake that they make sometimes with these NXT people is when they bring them up to the main roster and immediately just like can try to continue with their NXT game. That's what, or they try to turn back the clock and
Right.
start brand new, like they tried to do with Bayley when they brought her up and tried to, redo her all over again, making her the fangirl when it just that had passed her by. And when they brought Emma up, they continued with Emma like she was just moving from show to show, and the fans just were they didn't know about her gimmick of the bubbles and stuff
No.
like that. So you kind of have to treat these NXT folks if they've been pushed hard in NXT, you kind of have to treat them as okay. We have something to work with, but we got to reintroduce them to our
It's very
audience, to an
challenging. It's
audience
very
that's
challenging too.
not used to it. These days it is because you get the blowback from people of our ilk that why are they doing this? I mean this person is so dominant in NXT that they could just continue the path that they're going on.
Mm.
You just can't do that sometimes.
Right.
And that's why I mean you really look at it. Most of your most successful NXT people on the main roster, it's people that they really didn't have that big of an NXT run, like Elias, Braun. I mean, there's people like that.
Oh yeah.
They had NXT. Alexa in NXT. I mean,
Yep.
you think about her. I mean, she was basically a second, and she became a wrestler. But I mean, she was not ever like one of the top 2 or 3 women in the show. And then she gets on the main roster and just explodes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I know a lot of people were upset with how they introduced Asuka, having her be in competitive matches with Emma. But I think we can look past that now.
Yeah. I
And
think so.
they definitely did the right thing tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So now one person that I think has a potential of going down real quickly is Carmella. I'll tell you why. With Ellsworth being gone, she may be lost.
Yeah, they need to capitalize on the cash in, or do something clever with that soon, very quick. They've only got about a month or so before that completely falls off the rails, because Ellsworth was the heat magnet for her. She's actually quite good as a character, but Ellsworth was
He was the glue.
yes, yep, there you go. That's the word I was looking for, the glue. And with him gone now, that I think definitely will affect Oscar, or not Oscar, sorry, but Carmella in a negative way. I think that she's, because it was a huge talking point last fall, before she and Ellsworth got together, about how Carmella literally had no reaction. I mean, there were crickets. I mean,
I used to post a picture of the glacier every time she come out there because that was her heat.
yeah, I mean, there was literally no
And
reaction.
tonight it was kind of like that too.
Yep.
Almost. I mean, there was a little bit, but it was. I mean, yeah, they desperately got to figure something out with
Yeah,
her.
they do, and quickly.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. And Naomi, she's another one, just falling through the cracks there. But she got I mean, the fans were into her entrance.
Oh yeah.
But, and I love Booker. Booker saying, the cheerleaders don't get paid. I love it. Love that remark by Booker. All right, so we're 2-0. So me, being a big sports fan, and of course you're a big sports fan
Sure.
too, whenever you have these best of 7 type series or best of 5 series, if somebody goes up 2-0, especially if it's a work situation, I'm thinking, okay, now it's time to even up the odds. Well, we go to now Miz versus Baron Corbin. Now, these are two heels. Although Miz pretty much was de facto babyface in a lot of the way with this promo, and hell, they even have Maurice at ringside. Yeah. Maurice now showing. She's, I think, 20 weeks in, and she's showing now. So, the baby Miz is coming soon. But she was at ringside, and of course, Baron had talked about her in promos on Twitter and stuff like that. So that was a nice touch. But, I mean, we love the Miz. Miz is awesome. But to me, the right decision for this match was for Corbin to win, because Corbin's a guy that he's still fairly kind of new, and you kind of want to make him important. Miz is going to be Miz no matter what. He can do a job, and he's fine. But Corbin going over was the right finish. I think the match actually was pretty good, considering as well. Corbin's not been the best of guys in the ring, but I thought it was pretty good. And I love Curtis Axel's redneck brace. So, what were your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty decent too. Yeah, I liked Miz attacking Corbin's leg, and the match was sort of worked around Miz kind of being the babyface too, and that was definitely the case with the promo about defending his wife and unborn child and stuff, and that was sort of set up that way. Yeah, it was definitely a good match, and Corbin winning is fine. I've gone down a lot on Corbin lately. He
Well, they did too for a while.
oh yeah, he had some momentum, going into WrestleMania this year, and then lost the pre-show match to Ambrose and floundered and didn't do anything, and just
had Money in the Bank, then they blew that one.
It was just a mess, and of course there were the rumored backstage problems going on in the late summer, so that might have been a factor as well. So it's been, and he's never really been, that over in the first place.
No.
But this was definitely a win that he needed, and Miz is one of those guys. He's like a John Cena or better yet, Rock, who he's such a good promo, he can get his heat back the next night. You know what I mean? So I mean, Miz taking a pinfall loss, isn't going to hurt him one bit. So even though I'm a much bigger Miz fan than I am a Corbin fan, it was probably the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, with the situation that they were in, with them actually counting the wins and had a board for it this time. You had SmackDown's got to get some wins, and this is one of those matches they can win. So they did, and of course, Corbin had an in-ring promo after the match when Renee, so when his hand went up, Miz's mouth went closed, which I thought was cute. So good for Corbin. Next, we get this. These segments are always a trip. Natalya has been on it before. Bayley had it this time, where she was with a guy who picked out a ring from Kay Jewelers, who's a sponsor, and proposed to his girlfriend in the ring before a Raw show recently. And I did think it was interesting how they picked Bayley for this and portray. I mean, she was in her regular street clothes, regular street look, which they've done that before on other things, but not as like in your face as it was here.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. There were a lot of people that were like hair down Bailey forever, you know.
had a like a flannel shirt on, you know. And would you ever propose marriage inside of a wrestling ring?
No.
Okay. All right.
I would not.
That is interesting. Then we get Charlie Caruso interviewing Paul Heyman. Paul doing his spiel. Blah 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 blah. Same as usual. All right. Tag teams. The tag team champion battle. The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro against the Usos. I was looking forward to this match. I thought this had This had the chance to steal the show. It ended up being a really solid match. It didn't meet my expectations though. And this could be another situation where there's not a whole lot of matches between these teams. In fact, there's none between them as tag teams against each other. But they've faced each other in the past in different incarnations. But Usos, who are, the top heel team on SmackDown, reverted to babyface Usos here, which I thought was fun. And I love watching them work the hot tag and pat on the corner and doing the Uso chant. I thought it was good. And the Usos, Sheamus and Cesaro are a great tag team, but Usos right now is on this run where, I mean, they are definite top 3 tag team maybe in the history of the promotion. And there's a case probably they could be the best tag team ever that could be in the WWE. And that's just WWE work. Now, I'm not, trying to say that teams that have had success in other places. I'm talking about in the WWE. I think that there's a definite argument that they may be the best ever. But fun match, really good stuff. Lots of cool spots, lots of hard hitting as you would expect. And the Usos got the win, which I kind of thought was going to happen, of course, to even the odds. So, what were your thoughts on the match and the legacy of the Usos?
Yeah, I thought it was I actually liked it better than you did. It didn't, I think it sort of met my expectations in a way, or maybe slightly didn't meet them, but I think it kind of met my expectations. It didn't really exceed them. I thought this was a really, really good match. This Houston crowd just didn't seem to be a very good crowd.
Well, it's heel versus heel,
Yeah.
but Usos did play face.
And in defense of the Houston crowd, there were some weird dynamics in terms of pairings and what was going on in terms of the storylines building up to the show. So I feel like that probably affected the heat of the matches a little bit too. But I thought this was really good, especially the finishing run. The Usos and the Bar, like the 2 best teams in the world, are putting together a compelling finishing run with exciting false finishes. And they definitely did that here. I was happy to see the Usos win. Yeah, it was really good stuff. And Usos are they're probably the best tag team in the history of the company at this point. I'm a huge Rockers fan, and I'm a big Hardys fan, and a big Eminem fan. Those would be other teams that would be in my top 5, but these guys are pretty amazing. Yeah, I really like this match, and they're having a spectacular year. This is their best in-ring year ever, and it's I'm just excited to see what else they can do in the coming months, because I'm sure there will be a shakeup after Mania, and I feel like Authors of Pain aren't long for NXT. So if we get something like Authors of Pain versus Usos, I'll lose my mind, because that sounds amazing.
And that would mean Usos have turned babyface, which
I
I think
they might be.
you know what? I think that's where they're going.
Yeah, because the crowds are chanting with the Uso penitentiary like they did tonight. That got a big reaction. Their promo got a big positive reaction. Yeah, I think we might get if that's the case, and that's falling into fantasy booking land a little bit, but I feel like AOP is probably coming up here pretty soon, and that would be definitely a feud that I would be frothing at the mouth to see.
Yeah, Usos and Bludgeon Brothers would make perfect sense as
Oh,
well. So, and then if New Day is going to be disbanding or whatever, then yeah, I mean, you kind of definitely have to turn Usos face, because I mean, yeah, you got Gable and Benjamin, but it seems like they're cooling off on them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that by no means that this match was not, a really damn good match, because it was very solid. But I just had these are four of my favorites,
sure.
and I just had a high level of expectation,
absolutely.
and it just didn't quite meet it in my mind. But it's still strong match. All right, 2-2. Now we get an interesting segment. Jason Jordan was interviewed backstage, and he was booed heavily. He was talking about how he was heartbroken that he couldn't team with his dad, but he's 100% behind Raw, and if needed, he definitely could come out there and help. But he hoped Triple H got eliminated during the match, and
oh man,
as long as Raw won, he just wanted Triple H to get eliminated. Now, we'll talk about the main event later, but this sure seemed like foreshadowing for something to happen.
Oh, it did,
and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And we'll wait and talk about that later, because I want to bring that up. So we'll talk about it later. Just everybody just sit on it, and we'll talk about it later, because this was an interesting thing considering what happens later on. So, all right, let's move on. 2-2. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss battled the women's champion. Charlotte, of course, just won the belt from Natalya on Tuesday in Charlotte. So this match was changed 5 days out. So that's an excuse that Alexa could use now that she lost to Charlotte. But I thought that this was the best possible match these two could have. And I thought Alexa was really strong in this match. Charlotte held her own, but I thought Alexa, this is one of the better performances Alexa's had in the ring, I thought, as a ring general. And I thought this match a lot, considering. And they gave them the time. They had a decent amount of time to work, and the fans kind of got into it. And Charlotte got the win, which, hey, they got big plans for Charlotte coming up if they're going to do this whole thing with Rousey and whatever. So she definitely needed to be the one to win. And SmackDown goes up 3-2. So what were your thoughts on the match?
I thought this was a great match. I thought it was really good. I couldn't believe the chemistry they had. They've barely wrestled each other, and this was a really fresh match. They're basically kind of the two, golden girls, I guess.
Well, they were you gotta remember, last year they were the dominant heel characters on their shows.
Yep, absolutely.
The heel champions.
Oh yeah. And
here they are. Alexa's still heel, but Charlotte babyface.
Yep. And this was really, really good. Yeah, it was really physical. Alexa definitely looked really good in this match, and there was a lot of just. One thing I like about the women, even more so than the men, is, I mean, they look like they're having a fight every time. Like it looks so much more real.
Yes. Yes, both divisions. And that's one thing we can say about the women, and especially the Raw women, is when they get out there, I mean, they look like they really don't like each other. You actually believe it. You believe that, and there is actually some of them that really don't like each other. But I mean, you get that whole vibe that hey, I ain't gonna mess around with these girls,
Right.
man. They beat my ass, and like, I mean, Alexa, when she popped Charlotte Tuesday in the locker room, I was like, holy shit.
Oh yeah.
You know, and there was another shot like that tonight.
Yep.
Well, no. The shot I'm thinking of tonight was when the Sasha chop.
yeah.
Oh my god! But man, these girls just, I mean, they waylay each other, man. They're not holding nothing back.
Yeah, they're not. It was a really physical match, and I have no problem with Charlotte winning. She kind of needed it because she's had a rough year, personally, and I think
They're rehabbing her right
kind of
now.
professionally because she didn't do anything even before Rick's health, had that scare.
Yeah,
So.
her and Becky, they put her and Becky together as like a tag team. And was it what show was it that they weren't even on the pay per view?
Oh God, it was one of the B show SmackDown branded shows, I think.
Yeah, they can make their own.
Was it
SmackDown
Battleground,
special? Maybe, but they can't even make their own shows pay per view. Much less a Big Four pay per view. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it was something else.
But yeah, Charlotte's getting rehabbed, because I mean there's stuff going on, so that's good for her, because I mean Charlotte, love her or hate her, I mean she does have a presence.
Oh sure, absolutely.
That she carries her stuff like a star. So she has that presence that very few have right now in that division. But yeah, that's it. This was the best possible match I thought that these two could have for sure. So, and yeah, like I said, they got a built-in excuse for Alexa.
Right, right, yep.
And who knows, maybe they'll meet again down the line. All right, so now SmackDown's up 3-2 with the two big matches left. Now, if you notice, all the matches SmackDown won were the middle matches.
Mm-hmm.
So now Raw won the first two big matches, the women's 5-on-5 and Shield New Day. Now we get to the main two, and we begin with Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles. AJ Styles is, like I said on Twitter, fucking amazing.
Oh God, he's so great.
And he may, I mean, God knows he's been the best wrestler in the world before many times. He may still be that guy right now. The matches that he has had with so many different guys this year is, is crazy. And this one tops the list because, I mean, let's be honest. Brock Lesnar, I mean, he had the stuff with Goldberg, which, that's a whole different thing. I mean, that's
smoke and mirrors.
Two big sprints. That's two big sprints, but they were awesome.
Oh, of course.
But we look at the match, that Brock had with Roman. Look at what Brock had with Strowman. And they weren't like this one. And this was a long match. Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful tweeted out that this was the longest wrestling match Brock has been in since Fastlane. Was it? I can't remember. I think it was not Fastlane. It was a 2006 pay-per-view or something. It was, which don't sound right because it's 2006.
Right.
I think it was with WWE.
Right.
But it's the longest match he's been in a long time. Wrestling match because it went like 15 minutes.
Yep.
So, and he was fucking gassed. That dude, I mean, at one point in this match, he looked like he was about to explode.
Yeah. Bad.
But you know what though about Brock? Love him or hate him, and I really don't give a damn about him right now. The one thing you can say about his matches is that they feel different.
They do, yeah.
Than any other WWE match. They really do. And Brock, normally when he's there, works against guys that are around his size or guys that you would consider big guys. This is the first time he's worked a smaller guy in a while, and working with a great one like AJ, that mean, there's really no way they could have a bad match, and this was not a bad match. This was actually a really good match. It was a hell of a performance by AJ Styles. I mean, Brock was Brock, but AJ was just like I said, fucking amazing here, and just one thing Brock was doing too. Brock was doing his part in making AJ look good too.
Oh yeah, of course.
He was selling. He was, taking all AJ's offense. You can't say he wasn't doing that. And then the finish was just wild.
Oh yeah.
With the F5 on the phenomenal forearm. But yeah, I mean, when that calf crusher was on by AJ, I mean, there was if you tried to suspend your disbelief, what was going to happen because of the way they got it set up with the scoreboard. You thought, oh man, AJ might be able to beat Brock here with that calf crusher. So, but in that counter of him just bashing his head into the mat was amazing too. But what were your thoughts on this, and how awesome is AJ Styles?
Oh, he's right up there with Braun and Roman now, and he might even surpass him at this point. He for this year in terms of WWE best wrestlers, he's the best wrestler in the world. It's. He did everything in this match. Brock wasn't even bad in the match, really. He just gassed. That tornado DDT spot was just embarrassing to watch. Like, he couldn't even get him over.
And they replayed it.
He couldn't even get him over. He just couldn't do it. He just didn't have the energy to get AJ around. It was.
And I don't think he was trying to sandbag him.
No,
I don't think he was trying to sandbag him at all. He just
did
could
not
do it.
Sandbag AJ in this match. That's very clear. I think Paul Heyman was a big part of politicking Jinder Mahal out of that match. And
you know what? That's not getting talked about.
I think he was quite successful, and I think Paul Heyman probably likes AJ Styles and thinks he's on Brock's level.
Oh yes.
And I think Brock respects AJ, and so he gave AJ a lot in this match. The match was great. It was a great match. I liked AJ busting out a springboard moonsault, which I don't think he's ever done in WWE yet. Which he did here, which was cool to see. Basically a lion salt, and then followed that up with the springboard 450. Had some great false finishes for him. I guess they weren't really, but they were great near falls. I didn't think he'd win really at any point. AJ losing clean, I do think is bad. And not just because, oh man, Brock beat AJ, I'm going to whine and complain. No, that's not it. I don't like the idea of, these guys, in like either Brock or AJ losing clean because they're the champion of their brand, and it makes the other brand look less than, you know what I mean? It just makes SmackDown look less than Raw, which was
okay.
Clear all night tonight, but
okay. How would you have felt though if Jinder had come out and cost AJ the match?
I think it would have been better because it would have protected AJ more than loss.
I know a lot of people were taking the opposite way on that because they were thinking they would have ruined the match. It
might have ruined the quality.
Whether you want Brock or AJ to win, I think more people wanted a clean finish.
Right. I think a clean finish was the wrong route to go because it's your two top champions. There shouldn't be a clean finish.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Unification match. There's no reason for any guy to lose this match clean. A DQ countout I think would be BS. A no contest I actually don't think would have been a terrible idea.
It would have, and what it would have done too is it also could have kept that drama for the main event because it would have been 3, 2, and 1.
Yes.
So Raw would have had to win the main event to achieve a tie.
Yeah, there you go.
You could have went that route.
Yep. I might have done that, but I mean, the match was good enough to where AJ didn't look terrible in defeat. It's just bad that and so I'm not sounding way too biased because I do hate Brock Lesnar. I do think he's been bad for WWE overall, but Brock shouldn't lose clean either. So it goes both ways there. I thought it was pretty clear that AJ brought everything physically in the match. And I want to be that pretty clear there because some people were getting mad that AJ carried Brock for what they actually did in the match. Brock's aura is special, and like you said, Chris, Brock's matches feel different. He has that aura, and that definitely helps his matches. But AJ carried the load here. This was an AJ Styles performance gone mad. It was an incredible performance by him. And it probably sealed the deal for him. There's still 6 weeks left, but it might have sealed the deal for him as my WWE Wrestler of the Year in the ring. And that's with 4 months of feuding with Kevin Owens and Headlock City. And that's that's impressive because he's had a hell of a comeback since October.
Yeah, those Owens matches are something else. Now, conspicuous by his absence was Jinder Mahal. Now, we did get a tape promo where he was supporting AJ for the good of the brand. But, no Jinder on this show. And interesting that he didn't just make appearance, period.
Yeah, they've got the cage match at Starrcade, which will not be on the network. I know some are actually still confused with that. That won't be on the network, I don't believe.
No.
But there's something called YouTube, and I'm sure the whole thing will be on there. So.
Oh yeah, people will be recording it. You better believe it.
And I'm sure I'll probably try and check out a few of the matches there. But they got the cage match. I'm sure they'll have a rematch at Clash of Champions. But that's a SmackDown show, I believe.
Yes, it is.
So that's sort of what that's about. It's sort of the tease of the rematch, and the build. Starting the build for AJ Jinder for Clash of the Champions next month. I think is sort of what that was. I'm surprised Jinder didn't get involved in the show. I really kind of feel bad for the guy. I do think at the end of the day his title reign was a failure in terms of business and stuff, and it sucks. But he was clearly politicked out of the Brock match, in my opinion, and I guess clearly, in my opinion, don't really. That's sort of a.
I got a feeling if with that crowd tonight, if they would have done Brock versus Jinder, I think the crowd would totally shit on the match. I think they made the right decision.
I do too.
Whatever you should think, I do too.
I would have never booked champion versus champion match in the first place, but I think they ultimately did make the right decision. AJ was certainly a better option and choice. But yeah, I do feel bad for Jinder a little bit, but I think it's going to be he and Jinder in a rematch, and then we'll see where things go after that down the line.
Yeah, we will see. All right, next we get a match that, when going into it, Jimmy, you look at who all's involved in this match, you're thinking, my God, what are they going to do? How are they going to book this? Well, we got our answer. Main event, 5 versus 5, Raw versus SmackDown. Raw, captained by Kurt Angle, featuring Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, and Triple H. Against Team SmackDown, captained by Shane McMahon, featuring Shinsuke Nakamura, or as Michael Cole called him, Shin, Bobby Roode, John Cena, and Randy Orton. So you got a lot of big names in this match. A lot of guys with history against each other in this match. In different organizations, even. And, I mean, you got WWE, you got TNA, you got Balor and Nakamura, who were in New Japan for the same time. But, folks, if I'm not mistaken, I think they only had one big singles match. And I wouldn't even say it was a big singles match. I think it was like a New Japan Cup match. So they didn't have any long rivalry in New Japan. Their rival was in NXT. So we have that. And wow. The crowd was awesome for the part of this match. The match, I thought the beginning of the match was really, really good. I thought that the stuff that was going on was just, really cool to
Right.
watch, to see these different things. Like, Triple H and Nakamura against each other, and, was, I mean, it may have been good, but it was just so fun to see something like that. And then Triple H and Bobby Roode, father and son, against each other in the ring, fighting for the love of Terry Taylor. Just great stuff. And of course, we got John Cena and Samoa Joe fighting for the love of Rick Bassman later on. But yeah, I thought this stuff was cool. And the eliminations, you get Nakamura and Roode getting eliminated first. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. But then, of course, they would stay hung around and help the rest of their team powerbomb Braun Strowman through a table, which put him up for a little bit. And then we got the stuff like Cena and Joe and Orton and Balor. So we got to see these matches we've never really seen before. Braun and Orton and Braun and Cena. So we get to see the stuff that you haven't seen much of. And like I say, it made for really cool stuff. Kurt Angle, God bless his soul, man.
Did he work a lot of
I
this
love
match?
Kurt Angle.
Good Lord.
I love Kurt Angle, and he worked a lot of this match, and he just doesn't have it anymore to do something like this.
No, he doesn't.
He's a guy. I mean, Kurt Angle's somebody who you just remember his matches for all the stuff he could do. He was just a buzzsaw in the ring. And you look at him now, and he tries to do that same stuff, but it's like at half speed.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks odd now because of all the stuff he's had. He's like shrunk. You see him in there, like, I mean, I don't remember him being that short next to John Cena. So
No.
it just looked different. And Triple H, I mean, the guy, they actually, and I was surprised it did this. They actually acknowledged him working the European tour.
They did, yeah.
On television. That was interesting. But we got Shane doing his crazy stuff. Of course, his kids was at ringside watching him and Uncle Paul do their thing. And the big question on this match is, were we going to see them interact? Well, it happened. We had 3 guys left for Raw. Braun Strowman, Triple H, and Kurt Angle. 1 person left for SmackDown.
The Ace.
Strowman. Yes, Strowman got rid of Orton, and the top babyface of SmackDown, Shane McMahon, was left.
That's not a joke, by the
ring.
way. He is the top babyface of SmackDown. I'm not we're not kidding.
No, we're not. We're not kidding at all. I mean, he is pushed as the ace of the show, the top babyface. There's no doubt. He beats. I mean, it's not like he's beating everybody. It's just the way he's portrayed. He's tougher than everybody else, basically. Yep. So he's left in here with Triple H, Angle, and Strowman, and they're fighting over who's going to pick his bones. Well, Angle eventually tags in, and Triple H comes in and gives Angle a pedigree, which was not a clean pedigree, and looked like it could have hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And of course, Triple H had pedigree Jason Jordan on Raw Monday after announcing he was going to be on the team.
Yeah.
So you see this happen, you think, okay, maybe Jason Jordan's about to run out here and fight for the honor of his father. No, that ain't happening with Triple H. No fucking way. God forbid. That happened. But, and I'm not saying like Triple H is calling the shots on booking or anything, but that would have been a way to get some shine on Jason Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It would have helped him a lot, for sure. I mean, he would have gotten big boos, but, I mean, that's the point. Turn him heel, get him big boos, help him. It helps him.
Well, I mean, even if they boo him or cheer him, it doesn't matter. Just to show that, all right, this guy is getting some shine on Triple H.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Triple H pedigrees Angle, puts Shane on top of him, and Shane gets the pin. And Braun's looking at this like, what the fuck is going on here?
Braun's every fan.
Yeah, Braun's like, what am I watching? So I'm sitting here watching it like Braun, like, what's going on now? I mean, Triple H, he hates Angle so much, he sacrificed Angle, but he knows that he's got Braun on his side, so it's still 2-1. But he makes it seem like he's going to help Shane fight Braun.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes over there and stands with Shane. Shane finally gets up to his feet, and he asks Shane, "You all right?" And Shane's like, "Yeah." Then, of course, he pedigrees Shane.
Good Lord.
And leaves him laying and pins him and eliminates him. So, basically what we got here is we got Triple H not giving a damn about Raw or anything. It's Triple H has to beat Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon himself. Himself now. He has to beat him himself. You know, to prove his dominance over these two guys. And hey, all hail. I mean, this is a page of the Triple H playbook. I mean, this is how you go over. And Braun's in the ring like confused. And it's like, what the fuck's going on here? You know? And Triple H goes over to Braun. He's smoothing things over. Oh, it was just a trick. You know, I wasn't trying to double cross you. He kept raising Braun's hand because they were victorious.
Mm.
You know? And Braun, he at one point, Braun just shakes his head no. And Triple H is not looking at this. He shakes his head no, and Triple H just still keeps carrying him around the ring, raising his hand, and then Braun just waylays him. And the crowd goes nuts. And then he takes him to the corner, chokes him, and says, "Don't you ever do anything like that to me again. Don't you trick me.
You're going to be playing this game again.
We'll be playing this game again." And he walks off. Triple H tries to jump him naturally, and Braun takes care of him, gives him two of the Braun smashes, or the Oklahoma Stampede, or whatever you want to call it. But leaves Triple H laying in a heap, rips off his Raw shirt, crowd's just going ape shit. So, I mean, they definitely are making Braun here, even more than what they've done so far. It's obvious that Braun is, right now, the guy, as we like to say. We're getting over on Triple H like this. So, in the end, that was the right thing to do, but it was the path getting there that was goddamn confusing as hell. And, you know,
putting Braun over is the right thing to do, but the problem is everything else was bad.
Yeah, and I know our dear beloved friend New York Mike was at the show and was just losing his mind over, and that was for him.
Sure.
For him, hey, for our buddy New York Mike, former Fray, I mean, that was perfect, and I'm glad for him.
Oh, sure.
I'm happy for him that he got to experience that.
Right.
I really, because he loves his Triple H, so I'm happy for him. But wow, for us, that was just I'm just like, what in the hell is this? You know, but I understood why he did what he did.
Oh,
but
yeah, there's something that makes what it is it's a Triple H show. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, like, I'm just gonna be totally blunt. It's all about the game. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's about him. I mean, he has to beat Kurt and Shane. I mean, he has to look strong, and he's very clever about it all. Well, you know, I'm not going to beat any of the main roster stars. No. I'll just pin Kurt and Shane. You know, the part timers, and then Braun can beat me up after the match. Well, of course, Braun's the hottest guy in the company. Of course, Triple H is going to pair himself with Braun. Of course, he latches onto the guy with the most heat. Of course he's going to latch on to Braun. It's typical. It's Paul Levesque 101. I mean, it's not any good really, but it's you know, we were fooled and made to believe that there were going to be other things that happened, but you can never underestimate the ego of Paul Levesque.
He's a master. He learned from the best.
As Dylan hilariously said after the end of the show, and he's actually not wrong. Triple H's ego is 20 times worse than Hulk Hogan's was. I mean, he can't. It was. I don't even know how I feel. I'm a huge Braun mark. I was glad to see. I wanted Triple H to get his ass beat at the end of the show. So I was happy to see that. And I definitely popped for it. But the underlying factor here and the truth here is that Triple H is back in business, baby, and he's the top dog. And that's
Well, here's the thing. We know what the end game is. I mean, Braun. When they're going to have a
right.
match, or at least
Sure.
one, Braun's going to go over in
Oh
the
yeah.
end. I mean,
Oh
that's for
yeah.
sure. That's for
Triple H will
sure.
put. Well,
We know
Triple
that's going
H's
to
gimmick
happen.
now is that he's the guy who puts people over now.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's the final guy. He's the big
Yep.
boss. He's the big boss, and he's going to be the one to give the seal.
He's the one who gives the rub. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy because he's Triple H.
I mean,
So, but I was thinking though for a while here that maybe the Mania match could be Triple H versus Shane. That way we kill two birds with one stone.
True.
We get the Shane match, and we get the Triple H match in the same match. Because we know that's going to happen. We know Shane's probably going to WrestleMania again
of
too.
course.
So we would get them both together.
Worth
But
noting, Shane McMahon has much better cardio than Brock Lesnar, and that is not a joke either, folks.
no,
Shane
it's not
McMahon
a joke.
has superior cardio than Brock Lesnar. Think about that.
No, it's not a joke. I mean, Jesus, Brock. I mean, Paul Heyman probably has better cardio than Brock Lesnar.
I'm sure.
So, but anyway, now we talk about that. The match itself, before all that foolishness with Triple H. I mean, what do you think about how everything went down with everybody involved?
I mean,
here?
the match itself, the work was. I liked it at first, like you did. It kind of devolved into weird, just bizarre. Like it was just weird.
Well, there was a moment in the match. I don't know if you caught this, and a lot of people caught it too. People thought Triple H was hurt.
Yeah, after the knee, I thought he might have ripped his quad. I'm not even kidding. After the knee lift to Nakamura, I thought, oh boy, he tore his quad. That was something I thought. I thought that might have happened for a second too, for sure. Yeah.
And he acted like it too. He acted like something was bothering him. Now think about how different things would have been if he couldn't. Think about how different things would have been if he couldn't have completed the match.
Oh my God.
They would have the audible on the spot, and people would have been fucking lost.
Oh my God, it would have been a disaster. But kind of an amazing one to watch. It was also kind of an amazing disaster in itself, but
it was
because
a beautiful disaster. 311 one thing.
This was a bad match in my opinion. But the Shane took some completely ludicrous bumps in this. The Braun throw at the start was insane, and he took the Finn Balor drop kick into the barricade the most violent way possible.
I was having problems with my connection at the time on Twitter. I had to restart my fucking computer because my computer was dragging, and I should have tweeted it from my phone. I was thinking to myself, if I wanted to tweet this out, but I'm going to save it for the show. Finn Balor drop kicked the soul out of Shane McMahon on that one. He took his soul, that drop kick. Like, holy shit.
I mean, Shane looked like he got like fucking blasted by like fucking by like a cannonball and thrown. I mean, it was brutal. Yeah. He took some completely insane bumps in this. I thought it was actually fascinating. Nakamura and Rude got a ton of shine. Rude countered 3 finishers.
Yeah, Bobby Roode. Yeah, they made Bobby Roode
twice. He countered the angle.
You know who
countered the Oklahoma Stampede before he got hit with it.
You know who? The 2 guys I think that looked the best in this match was probably Finn Balor and Bobby Roode.
Oh yeah. I mean,
who would have thought that?
Well, that kind of tells you the quality of the match in some ways too, but they definitely were pretty solid in the match themselves. I mean, it was a total mess. I like the opening 5 to 10 minutes, and then it completely devolved into madness, and not in the good way, but in the typical WWE, this is totally bizarre way. It was something else to see. Yeah, I don't even know how I feel about. I'm mad because I can never be happy about Triple H when he gets put over to the degree that he was tonight. but I'm also not going to completely get it totally angry because I'm glad to see
He did get his
Braun.
ass
Right,
kicked.
I'm glad to see Braun on top at the end of the show, and I thought it was a way to send the homes happy, or the fans home happy, unlike SummerSlam 2016 when Brock opened up Randy Orton and everybody was like, what?
Or when the Brock Braun
Yes,
match.
yes, boy, that was a disaster. Too. Yeah, so yeah, it was definitely a better ending than I was concerned. Well, I didn't know what was going to happen after the match. I was like, Dylan was like, he's got to attack him. He's got to attack him. And I've so bought in to the Triple H is God thing, which is, I mean, it's true. I mean, he is in WWE canon. He really is.
All
Yeah,
hail.
all hail. Um, that I thought, oh man, I mean, there's no way. Like, of course he's just gonna raise his hand and maybe they'll do the angle tomorrow. Well, at least they did the Braun attack angle tonight. But on a fun note, our good friend New York Mike was of course at the show this evening, and he
Yes.
said following the match, Triple H or Stephanie came out and helped Triple H up, and Triple H kept on trying to get up and was like smirking, and he kept collapsing and like being a goof after the show, which is
There's a GIF on Twitter right now of Triple H. They were at the entranceway,
yep.
and Triple H turns around and hits the entranceway and takes a bump.
That's hilarious, but it also to me sounds like that also sounds to me like 1997 Shawn Michaels with a lollipop in his mouth and Kid Shamrock's putting him in the ankle a little bit to me, but
But it's not televised.
right.
That's goofiness for
Sure,
the
absolutely.
fans.
That's fair. That's fair. I have to take my days ago, but
I know it's deserved. I mean, but the thing is, should we have expected anything less?
Well, we were foolish too, and I was foolish. I was fooled. We were all fooled. This was to be expected. When he comes back on television, there's very few people that get to overshadow him. And he got the big rub tonight. So.
Well, Mania season's begun early.
Yeah, it has. A few months early this year.
Which makes me think: are we going to have the first Triple H Braun match of the Rumble?
Wouldn't shock me. Could see that happening, or it could just be Triple H Braun, and they just move on to something else. Because you mentioned Braun and Cena having an interaction, but they really didn't tonight.
No.
They might be holding that off for Mania, and they might have Braun beat Triple H clean at the Rumble and put Triple H with somebody else at Mania, and then have Braun and Cena at Mania.
Yeah,
that could happen.
Could happen. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that could happen for sure. Because I just know the end game. What it's going to be. It's just the road to that is going to be interesting.
Indeed.
To see how, because you got to think Triple H is going to have some, some agents working for him, because he's not going to work matches on television. It's like, who's going to be his people to work against Braun?
Sure. Yeah. And I suspect there'll be some interesting television viewing tomorrow in terms of follow up.
Oh yeah.
And what's going to happen from now.
With Kurt pissed off. And how's Stephanie going to handle it with Kurt and all this other stuff. So. Yeah, I mean it's one thing I will say about this match too that was interesting was for a return match for John Cena. Boy, he sure seemed like a non-factor.
Yeah, this was a we want to make this as big as we possibly can. Hey John, you want to work this match? Oh yeah, sure. That's basically what that was.
He wasn't even in SmackDown colors. He was wearing neon,
and he didn't even get involved in the opening exchanges. He was sitting there. He was on the turnbuckle or on the apron for 10 minutes.
He's free agent John.
Free agent John. Him greeting Booker was fucking hilarious though when he came out.
And one thing that we didn't mention, just completely forgot about because of all the Triple H stuff, was Sammy and Kevin came out
that's right, but it was
to
such
get
a
involved.
non-factor because Shane, the ace of SmackDown, chased them off by himself.
Yes.
I mean, Orton did
that
RKO
happened,
Kevin
folks.
Owens, but I mean, we were howling when Shane, won all by himself, combated with Owens and Zayn easily, with fending them off with a chair. That was hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, wow. I mean, they was expected they were going to get involved, and then Shane just like, whatever. We got to move on. I got to move on the Paul.
That's incredible. Oh man, even me,
it was like
Mark just can look at that shit and go, man, that's the dumbest, most funniest crap I've ever seen. But yeah, it was a interesting.
They were like patting him on the head, Okay, Kevin.
The
Sammy,
highlight of the main event, honestly, was Booker getting mad and claiming and claiming Mike Chioda was a SmackDown referee and yelling and screaming.
Oh man, Booker. Was it this match that Booker just like went off on Byron? Byron, you have no friends. I literally thought Booker was going to slap Byron at one point during the show.
Man, I love Booker. He was probably the star of the night.
Oh,
outside of AJ Styles. I mean, he was probably the star of the night.
Yeah. I mean, Booker's just amazing. But and him and Cole openly celebrating about this, and then the best part was the Shane stuff, where Booker's like, "How dare he bring a chair into the ring?" And Cole was with him on that too. So, come on, referee, you're losing control here. And it's like 3-on-1. Oh, so it was a spectacle
for sure.
It was a damn spectacle, and it was to be expected.
Oh yeah.
So, wow, what an ending to Survivor Series. One thing I could say as we'll talk about, give our final thoughts here. It was an entertaining show, no doubt. That's one thing we could say. It was definitely entertaining. Good, bad, or indifferent. It was definitely entertaining. All right. Thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs in the middle. Where do we stand on Survivor Series?
I'm gonna have to go thumbs in the middle. Triple H is just always gonna bring it down to the middle. There was enough good matches and great performances to hold this one right in the middle. But man, welcome to WrestleMania season, folks. We'll be having a fun time through April, and then he'll disappear again for 8 months. So.
Well, you know what? It makes sense from the Raw side because they don't have a pay-per-view in December.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
So
SmackDown might become the A show again.
That 25th anniversary of Raw's coming too.
Oh yes,
that's something else to think about.
That's simulcast. It's a first ever simulcast Raw outside of the, if you want to argue, the Final Nitro simulcast. That's going to be interesting. A multicast simulcast show. That's going to be fascinating to watch.
Maybe Triple H and Braun may have something there.
Could
Who
be.
knows?
Could be.
There's stuff that's going down for sure.
My
thoughts on the show. Thumbs in the middle as well. I said it was entertaining as shit.
And I actually thought it flew by for 6 hours.
Yeah, it ended before 11 o'clock. That was a shocker tonight. It ended before 11 o'clock. But there was good stuff, but there wasn't the great stuff that I was hoping for. Right,
same.
And I mean, that's just what it was. So, all right, real quick before we sign off here, thoughts on Takeover Saturday night. I thought it was an awesome show.
Was great.
And if you haven't, folks, if you have not seen Aleister Black versus Velveteen Dream, you better go watch that because that's definitely the match of the week.
Yes,
no doubt.
Yes.
So, what are your thoughts on Takeover?
Yeah, Velveteen Dream is that guy is something else. From what I understand, he lives the gimmick. and he shows that he lives the gimmick because, my God, that guy's an incredible character. The charisma is just phenomenal, and he can go in the ring too. That guy's has a
22 years
lot of
old.
potential because he's quite good.
22 years
Yep.
old too. He is young.
Yep.
And ready.
Yeah, that was great stuff, man. And Andrade Almas winning the belt was awesome. That needed to
Yes.
happen. That's the most interesting. NXT.
Poor Drew tearing his
I know
triceps.
that sucks, man. That really does suck for him. But Andy Almas winning the belt is he's the first interesting NXT champion since Kevin Owens. You know, I mean, it's been a long time since we've had an interesting NXT champion. Almost 3 years. So, hopefully the main event title scene will pick up again. War Games, there were people that hated it, some that loved it. I was in the middle. I thought the first half stunk, to be honest. The rules just weren't my thing. But once everybody got in there and they turned into a fun spot fest, I really liked the big guys in. I thought AOP and Killian Dane were
That's
awesome.
what made the match. The match was kind of there until when they got in there. That's when it's started getting good.
Absolutely, for sure.
Now because you're not a fan of the Undisputed Era.
No, not at all.
I like all those guys a lot, but the thing is, that's not the type of match that they would be in.
No.
That match was, for the guys that were involved, AOP and Killian Dane and even Alexander Wolf, that's a match for those guys. And they got to show out before Alexander Wolf,
that match was Adam Cole
killed himself.
Adam Cole's afraid of heights, so he was humping the top of the.
He hung around Shawn Michaels too long the night before, I think, when they had that match in San Antonio. But Alexander Wolf nearly just taking his head off
on that German
suplex, super German off the top rope through the tables. My God, what a crazy man! So we got our blood.
Yeah,
we wanted.
we did. Yeah, there were some criticisms for Ember Moon winning the women's title, but I think she was probably the fourth best choice still, to be honest. And I wasn't thrilled with it, but Ember can't lose again, so she kind of had to win, and.
Well, I thought she was turning. I thought this was gonna be a turn.
Yeah.
She was going to lose, and then she would just snap and turn heel.
Yeah.
But no, they went the complete opposite direction. Even I had Asuka, presenting the belt to her, which you saw. Asuka completely out of her character.
Yeah, definitely.
Which that's like the first time. Yep. I'm not counting her farewell, but
sure.
Just completely out of character. Right. And I didn't think that she was the right call. I really didn't.
No.
I thought Peyton Royce was the right call, but they're not going that way. And maybe Peyton and Billy are going to end up on the main roster soon, which they should be.
Absolutely. And Lars and Ono was good too. That was a really good sprint. Lars is
yes.
Is on the up and
getting
up.
There.
He's getting to be pretty good, and he's sort of he's starting to become the Braun of NXT in some ways. So.
Yes, he is, and but unlike Braun, he's actually getting a push in NXT.
Yes. Yep.
So he's going to have that behind him, and
he wasn't just one of Adam Rose's rosebuds for 3 or 4 months, and
then. Yeah. So Lars Sullivan, folks. He's getting there. He's learning the trade, and guys like Ono and good workers like that. That's valuable for him to be working against those guys on a regular basis to learn.
Yes.
So, take over a damn good show as always. So, go check that out if you haven't checked it out already. All right. And check out STI Trios when it comes up on Powerbomb.tv in the future. So, anyway, that's it for us tonight. Between the Sheets, folks. Check it out. When it drops, which has already dropped as we're recording. So, 1989, talk about Ric Flair and Terry Funk, New York Knockout. And yes, Terry Funk is the greatest wrestler of all time. There's without a shadow of a doubt. And we'll talk about Dave Meltzer's opinion on How should they handle Ric Flair turning 40? Yes. And his opinion on how Lex Luger and Sting, are they ready to take over the promotion? What's going on in the minds of the NWA, and all kinds of other fun stuff on that show, including talk about the Real World Tag League for that year, where there was a match where the Nasty Boys beat Kenta Kobashi and Akira Taue. Think about that, folks. Wow. So all that and more Between the Sheets this week. And that's it for us. Devin, thanks as always for being with me on this show. And we'll be back for Clash of the Champions, Night of the Champions, whatever it is. With the champions, all the champions will be on that show, SmackDown, as it is a SmackDown only show. So we'll be back in a few weeks for that. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving, and we will see y'all then. So long from the Peach State of Georgia.